Hi, everybody, and welcome to a bite-sized version of my Nourishing Conversations. Today, I am so excited to be chatting with the one and only Lisa from Super Being. I haven't known Lisa for very long at all, actually, but we met each other and immediately hit it off because we both help people transform their lives using two very different modalities, but actually our schools of thought are very, very similar.
Yes. Yeah.
So, welcome, Lisa.
Sunita. Yeah.
Um, so, Lisa, we talk a lot, you and I, about how we help people, and a lot of that comes down to their thoughts and their mindset and the belief systems that are sort of lying underneath. And you and I talk a lot about limiting beliefs and those holding people back. But for the person that's watching that doesn't know anything about what a limiting belief is, can you give us like a very brief explanation as to what that might be?
Yeah. So for me, very briefly, I mean, you can unravel this, as you know, but very briefly, I believe a belief is just a repetitive thought. So we have these thoughts after we experience events, experiences, events in our lives, and we think a certain way about them and we feel a certain way, and that kind of sets up patterns. When we keep repeating that, that can become a belief. So I think a belief is just a habit of thought, and when it becomes a self-limiting belief, it's an unhelpful thought that we've then made into a belief system. By unhelpful, I mean it's something that maybe stops you. It's something that makes you feel how you don't want to feel. It's something
Yeah.
that where you end up getting in your own way. And so that's when we have these self-limiting beliefs. They kind of stop us from fulfilling our potential. They stop us from doing things we want to do, for going for things, for believing in ourselves, for feeling good. I can kind of stop that. Yeah.
Yeah. And what are one of some of the common beliefs that you see in your clients? Because some of them, I think I could probably answer this for you. But what are the ones that you see when you're working with clients?
Yeah, so often when I start working with clients, we're more talking about the outcomes. It's like the coping strategies, the sort of the bad behaviors. They'll kind of come and
Yeah,
say, well, I want to stop doing this. I want to stop overeating. I want more
yeah,
motivation. I want to stop this kind of habit. But when you peel it back, it actually relates to a self-limiting belief. And some of those things might be that I'm not good enough. We talk about this.
that's a big one,
So
isn't it?
when you don't feel good enough, you want to kind of mask that feeling. And so you might overwork, or you might drink, or you might eat, or you do something to fill that hole. But it's actually,
Yeah,
if you don't feel good enough, or maybe that you don't like yourself, or you don't like aspects of yourself,
yeah,
that can be really tough. And just belief system that, I can't do this. Someone like me can't have achieved this kind of life, but that
yeah.
also comes back down again to self-acceptance and not feeling good enough, not knowing your self-worth.
Yeah, yeah. And so these thoughts that we can really, really take over are the way we are and the way we behave and the way we think. Um, we can do something about them, can't we?
We can. I know it's not all doom and gloom. It's
Yeah,
not all doom and
yeah.
gloom.
And this is why there's so much hope, to empower people with tools and techniques. And actually, you're going to take us through a very mini technique in a moment. But yeah, just talk us through like how you help people and some of the tools and strategies that you use to help others.
Yeah, so I think, we come from very similar backgrounds in that we, came from that corporate world where there is a lot of, if in my experience, that kind of stress and that burnout. And so, but also, we live in a world now where we don't have much time. So the techniques that work for me and that I tend to work with my clients, and I know you're the same, is short bite-sized stuff. How can we retrain our brain quickly? How can we incorporate something into our daily practice that only takes a few minutes or actually
Yeah,
saves us time? Maybe we can do these techniques instead of scrolling through our phone, so
yeah,
you can just think, oh, I'll spend the time doing this instead of something
yeah,
else. But they're techniques that only take a few minutes, but they actually work with that kind of deeper mind, that subconscious, and you can build new neural pathways and a new habit just by doing something sort of over and over again, but it only takes a few minutes. And they're the techniques that I think that are really impactful. You can just set aside a bit of time and it starts to make a big change. And the more you do it, the more you train your brain,
Yeah.
then it becomes easier. And then your default becomes your new thinking pattern or that new default belief.
Yeah, and I love that it's short, bite-size, little things that you can do because, again, it can be really, really overwhelming. Just like going to the gym, like when you're working towards a big goal, and they do say start, we start small, we start, as long as you can remain consistent. And I think that's the thing with this mindset work as well, is that you and I are still a work in progress, and we
Big time.
still do this mindset work on a daily basis. But just like we do take ourselves to the gym or take us out in nature and go for a walk, we need to be doing these mindset techniques because naturally
Needs to be
we
a
default
practice.
we default to negative, don't we?
We do. We have a negativity bias. Our brain
Yeah,
has a negativity bias because it kept us safe.
yeah,
In like prehistoric times, it was if you started to be really adventurous, you could go and get killed, leave your tribe, you could get killed.
yeah,
We have this negativity bias, it keeps us safe, but we don't need to use it as much now in this modern day world. So
yeah,
it is about that brain training, training
yeah,
to actually think differently because it's all about perception. It's all about perception. We have no control over anything that happens outside of us. All those events, you could be
yeah.
stuck in traffic, you could lose your job, you could do all of these things, but actually it's your reactions to it that you can start to change. And that's where you need to start to make that shift.
Love it. All right. Well, I'm excited. Are you going to take us through a little mini practice that
Yes, so this
people
quick
watching at home can participate in?
participate exactly. So this quick technique is really powerful because it just shows how you can change your perception. So what I'm going to ask you to do, and anyone that's listening, is to just think about a scenario that's happened recently, maybe over the last week or two, where you've either kind of gone straight to that negative inner critical voice,
Okay.
or you've really got sort of stressed about something, you've had a wobble, but just think
Yeah.
about a time recently where you've kind of had that negative thinking, that inner critical voice where you can't do something. So
Okay. Okay. Shall I close my eyes?
yeah, so close your eyes now and
Okay. All right.
bring back that memory in your mind, bring back that scenario, that event. And then I
Okay.
want you to just notice what you're telling yourself. So just think about that in your mind. What is that voice saying? And just notice the kind of tone of the voice. Maybe if it's in the front of your head, in the back, but just notice what you're telling yourself in that situation. And now what I want you to do is think about floating those words and those thoughts, that message out of your head, and think about it drifting away into the corner of the room. And now it's out of your head and in the corner of the room. Just notice if that feels any different, that actually you're not your thoughts. Your thoughts are separate. You're now an observer of those thoughts. And actually you choose to put them in the corner of the room. And they're telling you the same old story. Just see how that feels different. And now what you can do is just drift those words completely away. So think about them going outside of the house, out of the building, and just drifting down the road and into the sky, and they're gone. So now you've got some space in your head. So what else could be true about that scenario? What could be a different message? What could be a positive message? But just think about how you might see that scenario differently, more about could there have been an opportunity there? If you were being kind to yourself, what would you say? Often I say, what would kind Lisa say? So just think about a different message that could be true of that situation. After all, thoughts are just thoughts. And then when you think about that, just pop those words back into your mind and play them on a loop. And just notice if that voice has got any different tone, speaks differently, and how you feel from that different message. And then whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Wow, that was really, really powerful. I really felt that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had a situation probably in the last couple of weeks that definitely came to mind where I was feeling a little bit triggered.
yeah,
And I definitely felt, I like the way you said, um, think about where that voice is, whether it's behind you, behind your head.
yeah,
Mine felt like it was literally standing over me, like someone was standing over me, like I was a little girl.
yeah,
And yeah, it was like in the back, but then someone was almost like standing over me going, you can't do this, you can't do this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then taking that into the corner of the room, immediately I allowed me to take a breath. Like I don't know if you noticed, but I'd like sighed a little bit, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, okay,
You're
that feels a
taking
little
back
bit lighter.
control, actually. You're taking back
Yeah,
control. You're saying,
yeah,
on my terms, and I'm choosing to
yeah,
actually, it's not, you're not important, and I'm choosing to move that away.
yeah. And then the kind voice, I was thinking about what I would say to a friend,
Yes.
because I say that to my clients a lot as well, is how would you say that to a friend that was going through the same thing? And of course we're so much kinder to other people than we are to ourselves.
Yeah, aren't
So
we? Yeah.
that's when the like empowering, like, yeah, you've got this, you've done hard things before, you can
Yeah.
do this. It's like,
Yeah.
this is a no-brainer, of course you can do this.
And this
um
is brain training, 2 minutes,
yes, and it was
because
it
it
was two
makes
minutes
you,
that was really, really powerful. So I hope everyone that was watching or is watching can participate in that, or go back and maybe watch it again and do it again, because it was really something that's really simple.
yeah.
You could do at any point,
Yeah, and a
just
good
on your
thing to
own.
do, what I say, is when people have had a hard day at work, when you've had something,
Yeah,
you know how sometimes you can feel like you ruin your whole evening because something's going over
yeah,
and over in your head.
definitely,
This
definitely.
technique,
Yeah.
it empowers you. I'm choosing to think about something else, and then actually, what else could be true? Oh, I feel better now. I can get on with the dinner.
Yes, 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 yes. I love it. I love it. So if you are watching, you can always come back to this video and just, listen to Lisa's calming voice to help you reframe. That was brilliant. Thank you, Lisa. I really, really enjoyed that. And like you, I love giving people a little something to just take away, just these little things that they could do throughout their day. And obviously, you and I talk a lot about giving people and transforming people's lives through giving them these empowering tools.
Yeah,
I'm the same with tapping. So while we're not going to be doing a tapping practice for this specific video, perhaps in the next video we can do a little tapping round to share with our audience. But the two together, when we bring our two modalities together, have been quite incredible, haven't
yeah,
they?
really powerful. It really is phenomenal. We kind of knew that. We were like, right, these are kind of like similar modalities. They're the same approaches, but quite different. But bringing them together is absolutely so powerful, and kind of bringing forward what you need to change, releasing it, and then kind of like healing and thinking differently.
Yes, yes. And I think just experiencing the two together, they actually dovetail really, really nicely. So we do the tapping, so we're addressing those beliefs, we're letting them go through the tapping technique, and we're saying it out loud and loving and accepting ourselves. And the tapping obviously really calms the nervous system down. It takes you out of that fight or flight state, so you're feeling nice and calm. And then you go into, one of Lisa's hypnotherapy sessions where she's doing all of this NLP and this mindset work. So it's
Letting the
quite
change,
a
it goes in so nicely, because it is.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
they go so, so well together. So Lisa and I are actually coming together. Do you want to talk a little bit about our event?
Yes, so we've got the half day event, haven't we, at the end of this month? So on the 30th of November, a half day morning event at Leamington Fitness and Therapy Rooms Centre in Leamington, which we're really excited about. And we've kind of been working through this on our retreats, and seen the power of bringing this together, and the transformation people are seeing, not only in the session, but then kind of like being able to use it afterwards. But we thought, it'd be great to deliver this at a sort of half day as well. So we've got that one on the 30th of November. Really excited about that. Really working on getting out of your own way. If you're stuck, if it's
Yeah,
kind of like, oh, you're lacking with that motivation, or it's kind of like low self-worth. It's like,
yeah,
actually, I need to kind of like get my motivation back, get my self-belief back. I need these techniques to be able to,
yeah.
really step into my potential. That's the aim of this workshop, isn't it? This event.
Yeah, yeah, and it is going to be powerful not only on the day, but also we're going to leave you with some resources that you can then use afterwards. So whether that would be an audio that you listen to, or a tap along video, or even maybe some journal prompts to get you thinking about these beliefs and maybe where they originated from. We will be giving you resources to take away. And that's really important to both you and I think, is that you don't just, it's not just a one and done. You come and experience it, and then you do have access to those resources as well, so you can come back to these practices
Yeah.
every so often to keep doing that brain training, keep doing that work.
It's life skills. It really is, because although you can kind of like address one belief or one area, once you've got these tools, it can cover absolutely everything. And you can kind of like teach your colleagues, your friends, your kids,
Yeah,
it's
I mean, just imagine if we learned this at school, our lives would be so different.
get me started on that one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, brilliant. Well, Lisa, I that was absolutely fantastic. I love these little bite-sized conversations. So thank you for joining. Let people know, how can they, if they want to come along to the workshop or find out more about you, how's best to find you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, well, I think the workshop's on your website as well. But I've also got it on mine, which is super-being.co.uk. And also on there, I've got a digital shop with some free downloads. So if you want sort of to promote calm, I've got like a positivity boost. I've got energy clearing. I've got those free resources on there, which you can just download, as well as some other areas there. And via the website, you can book one-to-ones, all the group sessions. We've got online stuff, and we've got online stuff coming up,
Yeah.
like one on sleep and insomnia. So we've got online, in person. It's all on the website. I can reach out via Insta instead as well, which is super_being.
Perfect. Brilliant. Well, thank you, Lisa. I hope those watching have enjoyed this very quick, short and sweet conversation, but it's been so useful and jam-packed with information and something that you can do for yourself. So thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
And I will be back for another conversation soon. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Meeta.